Hello viewers, welcome to my project. So this project is regarding an assignment given by Floww.ai company. So basically it is a backend assignment for developing an API for personal expense tracker. So this is the requirement page. So I'll be using SQLite database in Express app. So this is the basic requirement for the app. We'll be having all these endpoints and additional endpoints as well for changing categories and all. And I've also implemented users and tokens endpoints as well, which are optional. So diving into my app. So this is the app that I've created in my IDE. So these are the main folders and files. This is the main app file which directs all these routes to into various routes. I have completely created a separation of concerns kind of file structure so that each single activity is taken up by a single file so that debugging will be very easy. So inside each of the routes I have um, separated the methods for each of the route category, report, and transaction, and each of the methods will be redirecting to the controllers which will be taking in these requests, and then they will use the models which actually contain the SQL queries. So they will be using small utilities and all which I have stored in the utilities folder, and basic configuration for database and controllers. So this is the basic structure of my app. So along with all that, I have also created an API tests folder within the app itself to directly test it in here. So for the database, we can actually use a local database as well as directly given in the folder structure, or we can in the app as I have hosted it on hosted the backend on render. I have posted to the GitHub repo and hosted this app on render. This is the deployed instance. This is the um, exposed endpoint for this app. So I have shown it in the README file as well. So we have hosted it on render, and the database is hosted on Torso, which gives a free tier SQLite database. So these I have created the tables in the CLI itself. So this is the real-time view of the database. So we will see if each of the API calls will alter these tables. First, we'll run the tests that I have created, the test API tests. So I'll show the API tests command, node API tests. So this is running at um, a bunch of tests for each of the endpoints. I've created some tests for each of methods for each of the endpoints. So let's see if these included these transactions. Like I have created a user is registered, then login using that token. Then I have created these categories. Then categories are salary, groceries, and rent, and then made a transaction, getting all the transaction requests. Let us see in the live app. I'll refresh it. Yes, this is the real-time database. We have the users. We have a user in here. We have incorporated categories. And for the transactions, we have directly have gotten a transaction, and finally I've deleted the transaction, so it's not appearing in the database. So let's jump into the API testing in Postman. In Postman, so instead of creating a separate API call for each of the methods, I have created a Postman collection file, which is a JSON file, which if can directly imported, which can be directly imported into the Postman app, which directly incorporates all the API test endpoints, fills up the data for us. It's like a function calling API for Postman. If we directly import this JSON structured like this into Postman, we can directly get all those files. Like I'll okay, Postman collection file. I'll directly input it here. Okay, so directly we got all the routes, which all the methods. That's what that collection file does. So let's check. Let's we need to first get the login. First have a user, authorization address body. Let's add another user. I am changing the email. Let's test user. Let's call him as flow test2 password. I have changed the email because email is given as a unique identifier, unique constraint in DB, so it won't take much many more. So yes, now it is successful. User is registered, and then with that flow and test2, we'll try to log in. Um, test2, we'll try to log in and get the token. Yes, we got the token here. Okay, I'll copy this. Sorry, copy the token, and then we can use that to create any categories and all. Let's create. Let's first see the real-time database as if what are the categories. So salary, groceries, rent we have. So let us create something else using that categories API post, or maybe directly get all the categories to see. In authorization, we need to include the token which we have collected. That was the old token. Now I have created a new token. So sending the request. So these are the all the categories: salary, groceries, and rent, which are present in our real-time database in Torso. So let's see the transaction APIs. So let's post a transaction in the body. I have created a transaction something like this. Okay. Let's again give the token. Mm, okay. Let us and okay, the transaction is successful. Transaction one. So let's see if these are incorporated into our database. Expense 50.25. Okay. Transactions. Okay, that is so we so these endpoints are working. So we can also post a transaction, get all transactions, get transaction by ID, update a transaction. Let us update the transaction. Mm, yes, it is automatically. Yes, it's automatically changed. Um, we'll update the transaction with 55 point something. Okay, this is 50, and we'll be updating it to 55. Let us see. Transaction updated successfully. We'll refresh this. Yes, that's working. So this is so delete transaction as well. We can directly delete it as well. And in the report section, I have created a summary. So let's create another transaction with expense, no income, And income, let us keep it as 100 something. Income description, something like income salary something. Okay, let us see. It is created as another transaction now. Income. So now we'll check the summary route. Let us see what summary it does. So actually I've changed the API endpoint in my app. Sorry, I forgot to change the collections file. Yeah, it's working. 200. So as you can see, total income is this, total expense is this, and balance is um, the difference between them. So this is how the whole app works. The endpoint has been hosted on a render, which is a free tier, which is on free tier. So there is a limit to the API, and the database also has some as a generous free tier, but we can use it as a demo. So if you want to use the app, you can also directly clone the app and use it as per the instructions given here in the readme file. So this is my project. Thank you for watching.